Okay, cool.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready here. He's taken another one and another, and Howard Foster has stopped it. Wow, that is going to be controversial.
That's a cracking right hand, and that must finish it. It must finish it.
Taylor trying to catch himself, using his jab, eats a right hand, another right hand, and he goes down. Oh my goodness!
The dream is made real. Ricky Hatton rocks the world with a truly stunning win over a modern legend. He is the champion of the world.
Yes. It's Raps on TV. We're back. Missing a couple of weeks now, but we're back to talk about the best things in boxing. It's been a busy weekend. Return of lineal champions, return of unified champions, and we're looking forward to this weekend's boxing with more champions. But I'm here with the co-host as usual, Nam. Big topics this weekend. We're looking to get into the Tyson Fury return, which saw him come back down in Manchester. The return of the Mac. Terence Crawford stepped up to 147 pounds and faced the WBO champion Jeff Horn and absolutely dominated him over in the US. But like I said, here with my co-host Inam, so I'm going to kick over to you and let you talk about the rest of the agenda.
Yes, guys. Thanks everyone again for listening in. Okolie, Mr. Biggest news of all in boxing. He's become a dad.
Yeah.
Mention that.
Yeah,
No,
definitely.
The biggest news in boxing.
Biggest news, mate.
What Parker has just been announced. Garcia versus Easter Jr. for £135 unification. Also going down. David Haye officially retires. We'll cover that as well. So call in on 01506 243 403. Give us your views and any other news you want to talk about.
Yeah, and don't forget, just add to that, we also got this weekend's fight. We see the return of Spence Jr. Debuting in his hometown of Dallas against the Mexican Carlos Ocampo. And we just saw news last night, and we'll kick into it today, where we see that Wilder has said he has agreed to come and fight in the UK, and Hearn has now said he will be sending over a contract. So hopefully we get some more movements on this massive heavyweight clash. But I think Anand will kick from the top really and just go into the fight that took place over in Manchester. The lineal heavyweight Gypsy King, undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, Tyson Fury returns in somewhat what people would say is a kind of very tepid affair during the weigh-ins, picking up your opponent during the open workout, letting him come into the ring, and right before the fight, slapping a kiss on the guy. So, very strange one. But, I mean, he got the win, which was expected. What did you think of Tyson's return to the ring?
It was a major comeback for one of the biggest names in world boxing, right? So there was clearly a lot on his shoulders. The guys fought through mental depression. So let's go through the whole thing. The guy through mental depression, being at the ring for 2.5 pounds, was weighing in at 28 stones at one point. Yeah, this guy is a giant. He's 6'9" tall, weighing 28 stones. I mean, that's serious, right? So he's managed to shift, no doubt. But I still think he looked horrible. At the weigh-in, he didn't look good. Clearly, there's still a lot to get rid of. The opponent didn't help his cause at all. Why they couldn't get heavyweight, I do not know. I think having a cruiserweight, they just didn't think it through. I mean, how they thought that would be a good look, and God knows. It just, even if he won, he would have got no credit from it because you're fighting a cruiserweight and someone that's so much smaller than him, right? Then you've got the kind of antics between the two. You booked out the whole laughing and joking at the weigh-in. Maybe Tyson's trying to shed some of his supposed homophobia by, kissing the guy at the end of the fight, like a full-blown kiss at the end. There's moments where, during the fight itself, the audience, started kicking off, about a large section of the crowd, and everyone was literally looking over into the fight. What was going on. If that was like a serious fight, a bit like maybe for Ortiz, you think that other opponent would take advantage of that.
Yeah.
So it was a bit of a farce, I'm not buying this whole thing. People saying it was a comeback fight. Yeah, it's a comeback fight, but he could have got a far better opponent than that.
I mean, I think
it's a bit of a spectacle.
Even more so because of the reasons that you listed out. The mental depression, the weight, the size. I think for me, I'm not going to say I was impressed, but what I was happy to see that he was still light on his feet. Now, I know you might say, well, why'd they pick a cruiserweight? I think they wanted to see how he moves against somebody that comes at him, first and foremost. That is key because Tyson's game is about movement. Tyson's game is about keeping the jab out. So I think that was the key thing. And then number two, I think bottom line, it's about confidence. I think they need to raise his confidence. And I think there's very few guys he's going to be able to go in there in the heavyweight division that would not look like an absolute tomato can, for lack of a better word, where people would just think, what is this? I'm not buying Seth Fury's record at all. They say, one lost to Char, blah, blah, blah. I'm not buying that. But I'm buying it was about attributes. And I think, this is somebody that probably has a little bit of power, but not huge, obviously. And somebody that is going to come at him with a bit of speed. And I think that's, just watching the fight, I think that's what they wanted to see. I think the biggest farce probably, which you didn't speak of, was the way he just retired in his corner. I think that was a joke. But overall, I think, you can't expect too much. I think the problem is that Frank Warren really made this a headline fight. So he's left himself open for critics. I think this shouldn't, regardless of the name, I don't think this should have been a headline fight. It should have just been, second bout before the main undercard, the co-main feature or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, to have this as a headline was what was wrong. But I have to say, like I said, I didn't think, it wasn't like a massive disillusion. It was just good to see him move because I think that's what Fury's all about, the movement and working on his jab. But I mean, next, who do you think he could be? Who do you think he could face next? I mean, I'm sure you're going to say.
I mean, there clearly has to be a step up. I mean, the thing is, he's due to fight in August on the Frampton card, which is 2 months away, right? So I mean, I don't know within a space of 2 months, right, who they could find, negotiate, and have Tyson Fury in a training camp that's going to be a serious, credible opponent. I really don't know, right? But, he needs to fight maybe someone like a Sam Sexton, someone on that kind of, domestic British level, maybe it's European level even. He needs to fight someone like that. Tony Bellew's throwing his hat in the ring, right? I mean, if he's serious about making a comeback, right, I don't know what he would achieve fighting someone like Tony Bellew. Right? The only reason Tony Bellew beats him, Tony Bellew said it himself, he's taking advantage of the ring rust.
Exactly.
He said it, Tony Bellew said in an interview before, he looked for things like that. He fought David Haye because he knew, or he guessed that David Haye was going to have serious issues with ring rust, his timing is going to be off, etc. And it's trying to do the same thing with Tyson Fury. It's going to be a big match, but it's going to be a big match for the casuals. Serious boxing fans will give this fight no respect whatsoever because if Fury's on his game, but you can't do nothing. Just with the sheer size, he would just walk him down. He would just walk him down. A bit like this Seferi guy. You see, Seferi has to lunge in. You're not going to catch Tyson Fury by surprise. If you're like 6'2", 6'3", you're not going to catch him by surprise. You're going to lunge in. But he would just block it. It's impossible to catch him. You can't knock him out. You're not going to knock him out. So what's Bellew going to do? He's going to just have to beat you on point. So, I think forget the Bellew fight. It definitely has to be a step up now. And I think someone on this kind of British level or European level, that's the kind of person he needs to fight next. Someone like a Sam Sexton, I think.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I will say, I think it's... I will say Sam Sexton, although he's not... we saw that he just got boxed by his Fury's cousin, Hughie. I still think it's not a dangerous fight, but I still think, I'm not expecting him to face really credible opponents now. I'm expecting, yes, I would like it to be a heavyweight, but even if it's somebody, I mean, I don't think particularly think this guy is that good either, but even the Cornishes, someone like an AJ Carter, I don't know if he's still around, that kind of an opponent, I think would do for him well, but I think, I don't think I can't see within the first 3 fights we're going to see anybody that's really credible. I think for them, it's like shaking off the ring
What about
rust.
David Price? They're talking about David Price as a potential opponent. What do you think of that?
See, I think, if I'm going to be honest, dangerous is not is might sound too strong, but I'm just like, is that the right fight? Because, you know, the size and the jab, you know, in terms of your reach, won't necessarily be a key advantage. He's been probably a bit more active than you, so, you know, if he gets you in trouble, like, you know, you say you just, is it the right fight? I don't know. It can sell. I think it does well for him. I think the real problem is he fight David Price. Is who do you go after next? Like, because once you go after David Price, I mean, we don't want to see him in with...
Oh, he has to, isn't he? He has to step up. I mean, I think he's going to need, you know, definitely 2 to 3 fights before he's moving up the, you know, to fight the likes of Wilder and Joshua.
Yeah.
He's still going to shed a lot of weight, you know, he needs to get that match fitness. He needs to get back into that fighting experience and get all his timing, everything sharpened. So, mate, if he wants to fight the likes of AJ Joshua, he ain't got time to miss about.
I mean, I think for me...
You know, 2 to 3 fights, you know, 2 to 3 fights, you know, it's still quite a long way away. You know,
See, I would disagree, bro. Yeah. I think if you look at it from 2 to 3 fights, that's something that he does this year. So we know that he's going to be out in August. Then maybe after August, you say, could he be back out for maybe November? A bit more of a sterner test. Maybe November is like a Price or something like that. And then early in the year, you would want to maybe see, I'm just saying this name, but, you know, if it's not a Dillian Whyte, Lucas Brown, it's, you know, somebody, maybe the loser of Brown Parker, Whyte Parker. You know, I don't think Baby Miller would take that fight. But then I think you start looking at a bit more. So to me, I think early next year is when, because I think their target would be sort of the end of the summer next year to have a blockbuster, potentially with the winner of Wilder versus Joshua.
Yeah, I mean, see, I would agree with that. But again, like, you know, to build up the public interest again, right? To build up the public interest for AJ Fury fight is a bigger fight in the UK than AJ Wilder. Oh, yeah. Right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're going to cover on the AJ Wilder fight, which, you know, is likely to happen. It's looking like it's going to happen this year. So, he's going to get his ball right. I mean, after this event, right, they've got a lot to do in terms of marketing to buy that credibility.
Yeah.
Because, you know, the whole social media world was buzzing with the return of Fury. Everyone used to hate Fury. But now Fury's come back, everyone's on Fury. It's just the way the world works, right? Now everyone's off, you know, everyone was supporting him, sort of like going back down into the barracks, right? You know, so they need to do a lot of damage limitation. So they have to find a serious, decent opponent next time. It's, you know, it has to be the case.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you know, the whole marketing campaign, the way this world works, it's just not going to work in his favour to be moving towards these kind of top level fights. So I think it's going to have to be like kind of Price, Gary Cornish, Sam Sexton level next. It has to be, right? He has to be far more fit for that, right? You know, his performance has to be much, much, much better than the last fight. Then going into kind of October, November, December time, right? He's probably going to have another fight. Yeah? And for that fight, you know, if he wants to fight the likes of Joshua and Wilder next year, it's going to have to be someone like an Ortiz.
Nah, that's too high, bro. You think that? I think Ortiz to be trying to fight an Ortiz Dillian Whyte by the end of the year, I think that's quite high. Like even your Brazils, yeah, I think that's a bit too soon, bro. I think, you know, even the guy even at the end of the year, I think it should be the levels of like the guy Dillian Whyte beat, and that beat Chisora Helgeson, the guy Dillian Whyte beat at Cardiff.
The Finnish guy.
Yeah, that's who he should be trying to fight. You know that not we know that the elite is Wilder, Joshua. Then you have the level below, which is Whyte and Parker. Then I think it's the level below that he should be targeting by the end of this year. But yeah, no.
Okay, fair enough. I can agree that. But then the fight after that,
yes,
it's going to be a major step up.
Yes,
you know
exactly.
You know, and think about it, right? By then you're talking about 4 fights. It's going to be 5 fights into his comeback.
Yeah.
Right. You know, and essentially, if we're saying, right, he's going to take 5 fights to get into a state fight Wilder and Joshua, then really what we said, like, you know, if someone was the creme de la creme, right, look at Mayweather as an example, right? Mayweather retires, comes back 2 years later, fights Marquez. Yeah, Marquez will coming up, he's really come up 2 weight divisions, but it's the same Marquez that went life and death with Pacquiao many times. Yeah, you see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I do agree, bro. But I think that it's the lifestyle. I think it's the outside of ring, which is only Fury's fault. But I'm just saying that's why it's 5 fights, because we're not talking about somebody that lives the life, you know, and is healthy outside of the ring, and you know is kind of dedicated to the sport. We're talking about a guy that is really, you know, openly talking about his depression and a lot of rumors around sort of like, let's say, extracurricular usage of certain activities, certain things. So for me, yeah, I do get your point, but I just think, you know, he's got a slight reason for it to be 4 to 5 fights, and also is how quickly would they want to fight him? So yeah, so I think, but the key thing is those guys need to get it on. So on the undercard of that fight, we saw Terry Flanagan take on Maurice Hooker. Good competitive fight. Ended up being split decision. When you heard it's a split decision, who do you thought had tipped it?
Well, I thought they were going to give it to Flanagan. You know, when I heard that, I said, go to Flanagan. But I think Maurice Hooker definitely deserved to win.
Yeah.
You know, a bit gutted, to be honest, because that would have lined up quite a few good fights, you know. But Maurice Hooker, I mean, it's going to be a devastating blow for Flanagan, because Maurice Hooker, after winning that title, has been invited into the World Boxing Super Series for the light welterweight. Yeah. Right? You know, so he's lost out on a fantastic opportunity. But what can you do? Yeah, you know, he's lost and he lost to a better man. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the thing. Well, he didn't get knocked out. I think it was a tough fight. I think with guys like Hooker, they come over, people don't really kind of, they're underestimated, basically. And I think, I'll be honest, I've never been a huge fan of Flanagan. I'll tell you why. I felt that his record is very deceitful, and I've never understood for somebody who's got the making to be a Hatton Part 2. It's never taken off for him. So I've always felt, you know, when he was in lightweight, he didn't necessarily challenge himself. And you know, arguably, people are saying he went up to 140 because Crawford had left. So you know, would he have gone up if Crawford still had those belts? Would he have competed with Crawford for those belts? Unlikely. So I think, you know, he lost to the stronger man. It wasn't an awful performance, but I think there's no real arguments. And like you, when I heard split decision, I was like, wow, yeah, Flanagan's got this decision.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, the light welterweight still, you know, it's got you know, lot of strong contenders like the Regis Prograis. Yeah, you know, it does seem like, you know, following Crawford's moving up into the welterweight division. That's all right. You know, it's basically rejuvenated into our welterweight division, isn't it? It's a bit like when Fury beat Klitschko and all the belts were released. Yes. That's what's happened. Yeah, and if Crawford didn't move up, I feel like he'd be a dominant force still in that division.
100%. 100%. And Flanagan was in a position because obviously Garcia was now was fighting at lightweight 135 and Lomachenko. So, you know, how was he? I'm not going to say how was he going to keep the hold of that undefeated record, but it was going to be very tight. So that's why I feel they underestimated Hooker, because you think you've now lost to Hooker, who's probably not a big name. He's not a champion. Everyone's going to say, oh, you know, he's got outstanding skill set. You know, he's a recognizable champion, and he probably could have lost to a Garcia, one of those boys, and had that name on his resume. But yeah, but it is what it is. So also on the weekend we saw Crawford fight Jeff Horn. What do you make of that performance?
Wow, it's dominating performance. I mean, I had a prediction down that it's going to be between a 7 and 12 round knockout, and you know, and I was basically going on the basis, you know, looking at Crawford's knockouts, it tend to be between the kind of early to mid rounds, you know. And what I'm thinking is moving up to the welterweight for the first time, all the big guys are going to pound him until he stops him by submission. And that's exactly what happened, you know. That's pretty much exactly what happened. Yeah. And it just showed the guy is a phenomenal talent. I mean, he is something else. Yeah. You know, I don't care what people say about pound for pound rankings, right? This guy is creme de la creme. right? You know, yeah, Lomachenko is fantastic, phenomenal, but you just simply have to look at like the achievements, line them up, right? The arguments being used by Lomachenko supporters, like who's he for? They are exactly the same people, right? When it comes to Triple G, they will ignore that completely, right? But then he's fought Eucorius Gamboa, he's fought Ricky Burns. He completely became undisputed champ at 140 pounds, right? What else could you possibly say?
Yeah.
You know, so for me, he's pound for pound the best, and you know, he's going to wipe out a lot of the top guys in the welterweight division, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The only one that can probably stop him is going to be Errol Spence Jr., which we're probably going to cover in a second. But yeah, you know, welcome addition to 147 pounds.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with you. I mean, for me, what I was looking for in that fight, and a couple of weeks earlier, we had discussed pound for pound, and I said, you know, everyone was saying Lomachenko, and I was like, look, I can't really say yes, definitely he's up there, but ultimately, are we going to change in a month's time when Crawford goes up? Because for me, I wanted to see how he was going to fight Horn. Obviously, we saw the Horn Pacquiao performance. Horn bullied Pacquiao, so it was a bit like, how's Crawford going to adjust to this new weight? Fighting somebody at 147 pounds that is naturally at that weight, knowing that Crawford's come up from lightweight, so he's now a 3 world weight champion. So that's where sort of the intrigue lied for me, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing, to be frank. I mean, to me, they're like, oh, he's close. Nah, Crawford bullied him, like coming in with a jab, like move it, like his timing at the distance, countering with the hooks, smashing him in the body, pushing him, throwing him into the ropes. I mean, it was just one of those performances you're like, wow, straight up. I mean, I've always said that I think, and I know we'll touch it later, I've always felt Spence is the king welterweight. I think for me now, I think that's the real Mayweather-Pacquiao for that fight. I think that's the real one. We don't want to wait too long for that. I think that's the real one where he's come up from the division, and I think we're looking at 2 guys that are strong and are skillful, and are undefeated. So that's my thought.
They need to basically market that fight, though. You know,
100%.
The problem is that, you know, these guys have just got a bit of a, you know, they don't have that kind of personality. I mean, you know, Mayweather had a massive following, Pacquiao had a massive following. When those 2 fights came, that's what made it into this super fight, right?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you know, if you compare like Kovalev to Ward, that was, you know, the creme de la creme of 175 pounds fighting. But in terms of, you know, sales and business, it flopped quite badly, right?
I mean,
so they need to learn from that.
I mean, the thing is, bro, you can't compare. I think with Mayweather as well, I think he's just on his own plateau. He's just in his own world. Like, nobody's really doing those numbers.
I understand that. But, you know, I'm not saying they're Mayweather, but what I'm trying to say is, you know, if you look at them both right now, they're very quiet in terms of personalities. You know, whether it's, you know, social media or, you know, just promotional campaigns. You know, it just shows why, you know, boxing in America just doesn't create stars. It's because they're not using the right strategies. Deontay Wilder, classic example, but they're getting it now. For example, now Wilder is going to meet people like the president, so everyone's going to be like, oh, who's this guy? Deontay Wilder, world champion, American, world champion, you know, and it gets that kind of following. Or, you know, Wilder's going to start hanging out with the rap stars, you know, so as soon as the rap stars start, then he gets a bigger fan base, and, you know, that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. They need to do that kind of stuff, right? And from that, you're going to get more and more generation of social media interest, and then it becomes a massive fight. And I still think, though, you know, Crawford still needs to move into the division, mate. You know what I mean? He needs to give a bit of a chance. He just literally moved up and beat, you know, another world title, world champion. Right, he's taking the belt off him in one go. But Errol Spence Jr. is a big welterweight, right? Something Jeff Paul was as well. But Errol Spence is a special welterweight as well.
Well, he's skillful. Horn doesn't have the ring IQ of Spence. If anyone is doubting, you know, that element,
Clearly, right? So what I'm trying to say is, you know, right now it'd be a bit of an unfair matchup, I think. You know, given that size difference. You know, there is. You know, Errol Spence has been fighting, started his career at 147. Terence Crawford started his career at 135 pounds. Right there, it just shows there's a big difference in size. Yeah. I mean, when you talk about work, you know, so Crawford, when he said he's making 147 pounds, he said he's making it easy. Yeah. He feels stronger. So he's not really shed a lot of weight and things like that to get himself trained, right?
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, no doubt.
Errol Spencer, you know, if you talk about walking around weight, someone like Errol Spence Jr. is probably walking around 175, 180 pounds, like I was saying, yeah? Whereas Crawford's probably maybe 160, 165, yeah? So there is that size difference. So I think, you know, in a year's time, right, and then you've got the whole thing with Top Rank and PBC coming together, you know. Now, what I'm say is Top Rank, you know, they've done very well out there in the States, right? Because they've got the two big stars now, haven't they? They've got Vasily Lomachenko and they've got, you know, Terence Crawford. So Bob Arum has done well, you know.
I mean, I think you definitely got to say, I'll say, just to talk on one point you said, and I said, I'll agree with you. I do think it's a year. You've got to let that fight marinate. Both of them are starting to build their profile. In my opinion, I think I'm starting to see their profile being raised by certain things that are happening in terms of like media. You see Errol Spence now doing a lot of network time. Crawford maybe not so much, but like people know of him. He's in Omaha. He's got a big following, and obviously the MGM was sold out. So like, yeah, I think that definitely agree with you on the promotion. I think from a network thing, a promotional thing, I think, you know, if I'm being honest, I think, yeah, you're right. People write off Top Rank, but they've got some fighters. They don't have a huge stable. I wouldn't say they've got the biggest. For me, I think if you look at it, and even numbers wise, I think Wilder is the biggest American star. Pure, if you look at American, I think he's the biggest one out there. I think Top Rank have got great potential, but Lomachenko is not doing numbers. So that's something they need to look into. But I think Crawford's one. They've got Shakur Stevenson. They've got Michael Conlan. So they got a good camp. But, you know, compared to Golden Boy, they got a very good camp. But I don't think we should over-egg it. Yeah.
No, I'm not saying about over-egging it, but what I'm trying to say is, you know, Top Rank has done really, really well.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, they feel like Frank Warren, you know, competing with the likes of Eddie Hearn.
Yes.
You know, so what he's done, Arum, he's invested in, like, you know, people like Vasily Lomachenko come at the Olympics is unknown, right? So he's taking a punt, you know, taking him on. Same with Crawford, brought him up the rankings, and now he's got the top two. One, you know, between 1 and 2, he's got the top 2 pound-for-pound fighters on the planet.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no, I agree. So listen, in other news, today we got that email. David Haye has officially retired. It was very poetic. The video and the transcript to the video. I guess some might say a lot of excuses, but no, nonetheless, I'll bid him a farewell. I think he's had a good career. Obviously, he goes out with 2 losses, but, you know, it is what it is. Do you think it was the right thing to do? You know?
What, retire?
Yeah.
What's that, retire? I think he's got no choice, you know. After that performance with Bellew, second time round, you know, who's going to believe him? You know, the amount of times, you know, this guy has wasted the people's time and money is incredible, right? And we've got to bear in mind, every time he sort of pulls out a fight, people are losing money on hotels and train tickets and whole flights and etc., right? So he's done it twice with Tyson Fury, yeah? So you could just imagine, you know, people going for a training camp. It's not easy, mate. It's a bit like Marty Murray, right? You know, losing in the fight with Billy Joe Saunders. What's happening is these guys are getting strength and conditioning coaches. And they go away from home. They're away from their families. They're getting other coaches in. Yeah, they're getting dietitians. They're getting specialist chefs. Right? It's costing them money. You know, it could cost easily between £15,000 to £20,000 to £25,000 for a solid training camp as you get up the rankings, right? You know. So these people have invested money and they're expecting to get that money back and make some money, just like wage, after they've had the fight. Yeah. So if they pull out, it's a massive impact on a fighter, both fighters. Right. So he's done it twice with Tyson Fury, right? You know, we saw what happened with Bellew the second time. Bellew said, you know, he said he lost the entire year of his career, but then Bellew had other opportunities to fight, and the first thing he said was, it's not about money, so Bellew's, you know, another story. So, yeah, I think he's lost a lot of credibility over the years, you know, and every single time he's come out with, I'm feeling better, this is Haye 2.5, 3.0, and people sort of buy it, you know. the first time he got injured for the Bellew fight, there was suspicion that people, you know what, he's better than ever. And look what happened. The second time, people say the same kind of things, and that performance was atrocious. And I think that was the nail of the coffin.
Yeah.
I think his advice would have said to him, you know, look, mate, we pulled the bluff and the wool over people's eyes too many times now. Then there's no way you could have pulled that one off again. Right?
Yeah.
So I'm feeling better than ever. You know, and who would he have truly have fought?
Exactly.
He came back to fight Joshua to make big money, right? Joshua would absolutely kill him.
I mean,
right?
yeah, he was
And
never in
after
the
that,
state. Yeah.
you know, and Bellew effectively killed that off. Bellew killed that dream for him, you know. And so, you know, he's made a lot of money. He's been good for British sport for a number of years prior to all of this. Unified, undisputed cruiserweight champion, you know. He's brought many fantastic events to London. You know, there were events, you know, with David Haye, there were events, not just boxing nights, you know. We had the whole Macronelli night, the value of event, you know, the value of fight. The Klitschko fight was fantastic. You know, it was boring, but the event and the build-up was great. You know, it was
Don't forget Chisora, Audley Harrison.
Chisora was a brilliant. Audley Harrison was awful, though, in my opinion, because, you know, people, you know, the British board contract at one point wanted to retain Audley Harrison's purse. He got £1 million, and it was fast.
The
right?
fight was what I mean is more the entertainment value leading up to the fight. The fight itself was a joke, but yeah.
So he's given British boxing fans a lot of good memories. People cannot forget that, right? And, you know, boxing as a sport has risen in popularity very recently, right? So all the newcomers to the sport, all they're seeing is what is left of David Haye and his coming at the other tail end of his career. What I'm saying is, let's not forget what he's done in the past. You know, he's done a lot for the country. He's brought a lot of glory for the UK, right? And good luck in retirement. And hope he does well with his promotional stuff.
Yeah.
Wait, off.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, I guess I'll just echo that. I mean, like I said, all the best. Really, I think he's got his promotional machine now. That's where his sort of focus will be. You know, guys like Joyce. I'm not sure if Yoka's still signed to him, but yeah, I think that's where that interest will lie. And yeah, all the best. I think, you know, for me, David Haye, will he be remembered as a great heavyweight? No, probably a better cruiserweight, but he's definitely a British personality. So, you know, I don't think he'll be too far away from our screens, and I'm sure we'll see him again soon. So listen, now I'm going to go up to the lines quickly. Let's get some people on. So we've got 348. The floor is yours. Hello.
Coach Joe and how you guys doing?
Not bad. Tom, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing well, mate. Congratulations on the baby.
Thank you very much, bro. Thank you very much. Team no sleep over here, mate.
How you doing, Thomas? Yeah, I'm doing well, and how you doing, mate? Yeah, good. Yeah, Team Kojo is got a new addition to the member. You know, new member being added to the team.
Exactly. So, Tom, what's on your mind?
Yeah, just with the Fury fight from the weekend, it was quite disappointing, really, to see Fury come up against like an opponent that wasn't as game as what they made out for him to be. I think as well, like in the build-up, you know, all the jokes and the laughs and the looking impressive on the pads and stuff, it all added up, but it kind of distracted him from actually performing on the night. And with all his sparring partners saying, how he looked so impressive in the gym, he really needed to deliver on such a major comeback fight, in the division. So it was quite disappointing, really, to see, someone that in front of him that wasn't going to bring the best out of him.
Yeah.
What do you think Wilder and AJ would take away from that?
But I think they'll be rubbing their hands, looking at that kind of performance. I know you alluded to him being light on his feet, but at times he was very flat, and his feet got tangled up a lot of the time. And I think even though he was getting through, to Fury's guards, he could have been doing a lot more to, evade the punches and to look a bit more slick. But I suppose that was kind of just Fury being negative for as long as it lasted. So.
Yeah, I mean, I do think there's no way you wouldn't be able to take any sort of criticism from the performance. I just think I'm not marking it too much in a sense of this. That I wasn't expecting him to sort of light up the scene and knock guys out. So I can definitely hear your points. I'm just like, yeah. I think for me, I'll ask a question. How quickly do you want to see him challenging for his belts?
I think to be in contention for a world title, it won't be probably till the end of next year. I think he needs to have 2 or 3 more fights at domestic level. As you said, the likes of Sam Sexton, that sort of caliber of opponent. And then as he steps beyond British level, then to fight someone like Brian Jennings or like, sort of European French world level, and then have those fights with the likes of, the loser of Whyte Parker before he steps up against the winner of Joshua Wilder. I think he needs to have those domestic fights, fights also have to have fights that, will motivate him to get him up. Because, if he's facing opponents like Fury and, lesser known guys, he's not going to be as motivated as what he would be in, like, domestic fights with the likes of Price and like Whyte. So I think it's just a gradual step up in opponent, 2 or 3 more fights, then step up against a fringe world level guy, and then have those mega showdowns later next year.
Yeah, the only thing I would add to that, Thomas, is especially with the casual fan base, right? Boxing fans are not that patient, mate, right? People don't want to wait around 2 years to see Tyson Fury fight the likes of AJ and Wilder, and especially with the AJ Wilder train now on, the hype train is going to be building. Yeah, that hype and that promotional activity is going to take away any hype surrounding Fury, right? So he's going to be in the shadows compared to these guys, right? So, and if they're going to fight October, November time, they're fighting for it's a two fight contract, what's been alluded to. So if they fight October, November, you think there's going to be a rematch around March, April time. So after that, if we're going to wait another 6, 7, 8, 9 months after that for Fury to make his kind of entrance against the winner of those two, I think it's too far off, mate.
You know what, Inam? I'll say something. And you know what? It's tricky. I would say I was thinking that is too far off end of next year. But if you actually play it out like that, you might not even have a choice. The reason why I'll say that is, let's say the fight is agreed. They have one fight this year. Like you said, February to April again next year in terms of a rematch. They're not going to get back into the ring until at least
the perfect time,
August, September anyway. And then they'll have a defence. Yeah. And I don't think their first defence will be Fury. So he might not have a choice in all of that, to be fair.
I don't know. I think that's the perfect time. We can bear in mind, mate, these two fights are going to be massive money spinners.
I agree with you. I'm just, I agree with you. I'm just saying, I don't know if they would. I just if in feasible. I don't know if they would. If either of those guys would take that as their first unified fight, especially if Joshua wins. I don't see Joshua taking that as his first unified fight. I don't know. That's where.
I don't know. My view is this, right? Once that fight happens, whoever's winning, the amount of money that's going to be generated is going to be phenomenal. The amount of kind of marketing campaigns that would have been built around that was going to be phenomenal. They're going to want to lose that, right? You see what I'm saying? So then, in that meantime, in the background, right, if Fury's building his name again, the story just works out brilliantly, isn't it? We finally got an undisputed heavyweight champion of the world after 30 years since Mike Tyson last was champion, blah, blah, blah. And here we have now the lineal heavyweight champion is back to match fitness, right? The perfect fight, in my opinion, for the winner of Wilder and Joshua after the second fight, in my opinion, is Fury. You can't get a bigger fight after that fight than that. You see what I'm trying to say?
I agree with you. I'm not saying no. I'm just saying logistically would that work? But fair enough. Before we move on to the next caller, Tom, anything else on your mind?
Yeah, just from the undercard, I was quite impressed with Nathan Gorman. I thought he put in a very calculated display, against someone as game as Sean Turner.
He stopped him early, right?
Sorry, what was that?
I said he stopped him early?
Yeah, stopped him third round. I just find him a very complete fighter, and I think under Hatton he's improving fight by fight, and obviously with his name being mentioned with Dubois and vice versa, I think it bridges the gap between them two. I think it is a genuine 50-50 fight when they do meet. So
yeah, interesting point on that I picked up today via social media. From the back of those two, from what I've read from someone who's supposed to be a kind of high level insider in the boxing game, Frank Warren, apparently Box Nation is going to close in 6 months' time, so let's keep an eye on that. And the reason being is, on the back of the heavyweights he's now got coming through, apparently he feels comfortable enough that he's got a stable, he's got to do fundraising to take his stable to the next level. So, yeah, I mean, like, where would you rank Gorman, Thomas, alongside the other British heavyweight fighters? And where do you see him in the next few years? Can you seriously see him challenging the likes of Joshua, Wilder, Fury?
In terms of a ranking, I'd place him just inside the top 10. I think he's still a way off, the elite guys. I think, he's relatively inexperienced in the professional game. I think he's being, moved along well. He's having these tough apprenticeship fights, fights that are, improving him. And as he's, losing like a bit of the weight, trimming down, he's looking sharper fight by fight. And I think, Hatton's improving, each fight he's improving a different aspect of his game. And I think in the long run, that's going to stand him in good stead, having all the fundamentals, polished off, and that he's, making those improvements that will, against a better caliber of opponent is going to definitely stand him in good stead. So.
Yeah, good point, mate. All right, thank you very much, Tom. I'm going to move on to the next caller. Appreciate the support. Cheers to that, man. Speak soon. All right, 269. Bye. Going out to 269. Hello.
Hey, Kodra and Arm, how you guys doing?
Yes, what's going on, Jason? You good?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Good. What's on your mind?
Over the weekend, I think the main thing is really the Terence Crawford fight. I was just really amazed how he won that fight in regards to just overpowering the guy, jabs, hooks, body shots. Yeah, it was just really good.
Yeah,
really good.
Yeah, no, it was definitely an impressive performance. In terms of him versus Spence Jr, is that something you would like to see in next year?
Yeah, I definitely would love to see that next year. Yeah, even this year. I think Errol Spencer's fighting this weekend, right?
Yeah, that's correct. He's fighting this weekend against Carlos Ocampo.
So their fights are just a week apart. So I don't want to say I doubt it, but you never know. It could be the end of the year fight, really. But I'm a fan of both of them. I would feel that Errol Spence will overpower him, but Terence Crawford just amazes me all the time. Even the fact how he took out what's the other guy's name that he fought to be undisputed?
Indongo.
Indongo, yeah. Just giving him a body shot, and was it the third round he took him out? I was surprised with that.
Exactly.
This fight, I was surprised how his strength was so much more than the opponent, So now I wouldn't be surprised if he was to beat Errol Spence, but that would definitely be a good fight.
No, 100%. That's next on the horizon. We're going to touch on Wilder and Joshua a bit later. So do you want to talk about that now, or do you want to stay on the line and come back to that?
I'll talk about it now.
Yeah, that's cool.
So I saw Deontay Wilder's Instagram, I believe, last night, and he accepted Joshua's offer, but he also said that the 50 million offer is still there as well. So hopefully this fight will go forward. However, I'm not too convinced that it's guaranteed. Because I for some in an interview, and it's like Eddie Hearn's always trying to get the British public to think that Wilder's some hype job. I don't know.
Yeah.
Another thing as well is, I'm sure with the 50 million offer, the terms I'm sure they got the terms to the $50 million fight, but I'm not actually sure why they haven't accepted it.
So
I mean, the way how Eddie Hearn goes on, I'm sure he would be on an interview and say, "Oh yeah, we didn't accept it because of this, that, the other." But the one thing I've just heard is that
it's the location.
Joshua doesn't fight.
So I don't know. So my thing is, when I hear Hearn say that, and I'll say this quickly, I don't know if it's Hearn or if it's Joshua, but it's definitely the location. It's definitely the location where they're saying is an issue. So whether it's Joshua doesn't feel comfortable fighting in the US as his first time against such a big risk, or whether it's Hearn that doesn't feel comfortable, I'm not sure. But I think it's definitely the location.
Yeah. I just hate the fact that the $50 million offer, it was just downplayed by Eddie Hearn. There were so many questions about location, what does he have to do for the $50 million? And then after I'm sure they got the details, I don't know if they actually confirmed, oh yeah, we got the details. That's all good apart from the location. Like, I don't believe that was actually said. So after downplaying the offer, now it's basically kind of gone quiet in regards to that $50 million offer. And the only answer he had was it was the location.
Yeah.
Like, how about the other stuff he was talking about? And I'm a Joshua fan, but the main Joshua fans that I guess
Protectors.
are boxing fans, they don't question anything else in regards to Eddie Hearn.
Yeah, exactly. The Joshua protectors just take what he says. So, no, definitely I hear that, bro. So we'll have to see how it develops. Hearn has supposedly sent a contract over, so let's see how that develops, and we're going to touch on that a bit later. So appreciate you calling in. Try and stay on the line, but yeah, thank you. Appreciate that.
Just want to big up Baby Afia as well.
Yeah, thank you very much, brother. Thank you. Take care, man. Cheers, man. Best.
All right,
nice. So 251 is on the floor. How you doing? Is that I think it's Dwayne?
How you doing, guys?
Yes. What's going on, bro?
How you doing,
Not
man?
bad. Yourself?
Yeah, not too bad still, man. It's been a great week for boxing, man.
Yes.
And quickly before I forget, actually, shout out to Raps on TV. I see you, man, made your debut on Sky Sports.
Yeah, thank you. That was with man like Okolie, the guy with the sauce.
yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
I heard the narrator say a very popular podcast.
Yeah.
And I next thing I know, I saw a call, so I'm like, shout out to them as well, no doubt.
Yes, exactly. It was in the cut.
Yes, Steve, how you doing?
Yeah, respect, man. You man are making movements, man. It's a good look.
So what's on your mind, bro?
I don't even know if I could cram it all in the small space of time I got, but big weekend for boxing, really. You had obviously Tyson Fury come back. I mean, we couldn't expect much better from his first fight. It would have been good to see him just brush off the showboating thing and just wrap that guy up. I think that would have been, for all the fans that attended, it would have been good to see Tyson Fury just totally destroy him straight away. I thought it was disgraceful that the guy didn't come out after that fourth round because he wasn't hurt or anything. He was just getting outclassed. You obviously had the Crawford situation. Very, very good win. First step up to welterweight. Wins the title immediately. I guess with that said, you've got the whole debate of can he beat Spence Jr. But the thing with Spence is he's massive, like Enam said earlier, he's massive at the weight, so it's, to me, in a way, it's still kind of a mismatch. Him fighting Furman or one of the others is a bit more balanced, but I think him fighting Spence, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think what would be good is like if he the winner of Sean Porter and Danny Garcia. That's right. I think he beats Danny Garcia easily, very easily.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It might be a bit more difficult, but the guy needs moves.
Yeah.
You know, you have to be a strong guy and have to have quick feet, which I suppose Crawford does have to beat Sean Walter, but you have to constantly, the guy is mauling you, you have to
it's just like a
keep it He's like a pit bull, isn't he? You know?
He'll be on your chest.
That would be a good fight, in my opinion, for his next fight after those two.
Yeah, I agree. I think the winner of those. I mean, I agree with you. I think he would get Spence Garcia easier than Porter.
Yeah. So that fight's more of a proper welterweight fight.
Yeah, exactly.
Him rushing into fight Spence was a bad look.
Yeah.
So you read the news today about or yesterday where Wilder's accepted the terms from terms that have been given to him. Eddie Hearn coming out with the usual, we've waited 4 weeks. We think this is just dismantle the Povetkin fight. We're very close to the Povetkin fight. Now, someone like Wilder is outspoken. He's doing the talk himself, right? Whereas AJ is behind the scenes doing anything. It's Hearn constant to talk. I find so annoying, man. I find it incredibly frustrating when I see that, right? What do you think about that? Surely we need AJ to step out of the shadows and say something about it. Like, look, I want this, blah, 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 I don't want it, It's just like, why is Eddie Hearn always, in my opinion, trying to put blockers in this fight happening?
Yeah, I agree. It's really unfortunate that Eddie Hearn makes these types of comments, because it's really condescending to the Wilder side to say things like, we'll see if he's really serious, and we saw his stuff on social media. But it was more than just stuff on social media. An email was sent by Wilder as well as his manager. So I thought we'd got past the indirect disrespectful comments. Because I remember a few interviews ago, Eddie Hearn wasn't talking bad about the Wilder side. So when I heard the interview on Sky Sports today, I was really, felt quite let down in that sense. Talking about the Povetkin fight, when we all know that a unification, especially something of this magnitude, will overrank or outrule or overrule a mandatory for sure.
Yeah.
And I think, to be honest, if AJ even just relinquished the WBA and fought Wilder, all boxing fans would still regard the winner of those two as the legit champion. Who cares about Povetkin? Who really wants to go to Russia?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a good look for Joshua if they take this Povetkin fight. And I think a lot of fans are starting to say that now.
Yeah.
Even AJ fans, the tide is slowly but surely turning, because there's so long you can chat bullshit for.
Exactly.
People eventually settle it, right? So people are starting to wake up. They're like, listen, is it really happening this time? Is it really going to be happening? So if Eddie Hearn doesn't take until they take the Povetkin fight over, it's a bad look. It's going to be incredibly frustrating for our boxing fans. We've got an opportunity to see a mega fight, and you've taken that away from the paying fans to give them Povetkin instead. And the whole Povetkin fight, it's almost, to me, it's very similar in some ways to the Fury fight. Yeah, you've got a small heavyweight fighting a giant heavyweight. What can we really expect? I mean, we saw what happened when Povetkin fought Klitschko. We saw that.
Exactly.
You bullied him.
And don't forget, bro. Even with Povetkin, you saw Povetkin. I won't say struggle, but he was hurt by David Price. We saw that, and then he came back to win.
I was literally just going to say that.
Yeah. So
but David Price, he was giving him troubles.
Exactly. So I agree. And the other thing I think, and it's going back to Jason's point about not being questioned. Unfortunately, the media that's out there, apart from guys like us, they don't really question Hearn, or we don't get the opportunity. So for me, it's like, where's this big announcement about Brazil? If you think back a month ago when the 50 million offer was laid down, it was all about he's fighting Brazil. So why is he still chasing Joshua then if he's really fighting Brazil? And you openly put out the picture of Povetkin manager in your office flying in, and you've now made that fight. So you're saying he's scuppering it. I mean, come on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And just to add as well, some details I've heard is that Wilder's accepted a flat fee to come to the UK.
Yeah.
Rumours are 15 million, no cut on the pay-per-view revenue. So he's really took a bad deal to still make the fight happen.
Yeah.
And we're still hearing a whole lot of nonsense, really. All I expect to hear, or would have wanted to hear, is the contract being emailed over.
Yeah.
Have that ready. I mean, if you've already set out terms and terms have been agreed to,
Exactly.
The only thing I would say,
they did say they said they're going to send their contract today, though, didn't they?
he said this week, you know, as opposed to 2 days.
By today or today. Yeah, I'm sure they said by today or tomorrow contract's going to be issued.
I'll fire over the interview that I heard on Sky Sports to Codger, but Eddie Hearn said this week. I want to be hearing today. I mean, come on, this is the biggest fight in boxing.
Well, isn't that what he said? Isn't that what he said in an interview? He said in an interview, if they had sent the offer, I would have said, bam, I would have sent the contract and the money would have been in escrow within 24 hours. So,
Thank you.
yeah.
I do recall that interview as well.
That's her strategy. I do think he will send the contract. I think the problem we're going to have is if they know they're even offering a bad deal and Wilder's taking it, I think then the fear on their side sets in. It's like, this guy's coming for the belt and he's coming for win. And, you know, so they've secured themselves a 2-fight deal. You know, I guess there's a different... We just got to see. I mean, I'm still slightly hopeful that the fight can get made. I think UK is probably the right thing. And let's just go from there and hopefully we get some positive developments.
Can I add one more point? Sorry,
Yes.
please.
Yep.
On a positive for AJ, he did put out a kind of cryptic post on Insta with him about skipping rope and he's saying something about let's get ready to rumble. So that could be an indirect thing from him saying that.
Was that today?
Tip in my opinion, man. Just come out and say it.
Yeah, I'll feel you.
Yeah. So, no, I appreciate you calling in, D. We're going to move on to the next caller. But thank you for your support as always.
Yeah, no doubt, man.
Take it easy,
care,
man.
guys.
Alright, cheers, take it easy. So, moving on to 985, the resident Diesel. Hello.
How we doing, fellas?
Not too bad, not too bad. You well?
Big D, what's up, bitch?
We're good, mate. We're good. With D, your background noise, man. It's kid.
Yeah, it should be better now.
Alright.
You hear me now?
Yeah, we hear you now, mate. We hear you now. What's on your mind?
Yeah, great performance by Crawford. And obviously, Fury's back, isn't he?
Yeah.
Well, not a fantastic performance, but he got some rounds under his belt, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. What is he, 28, 29? 27, 28, I think he is. He's the same age as Joshua. Is he?
Yeah.
Is he? Okay. Yeah, so, I mean, what do you reckon? What's you guys' performance on his performance?
I think we're split.
I think it was awful, mate.
Yeah, I think he wasn't so. I didn't think it was great. I think I wasn't being overly critical, but I can definitely understand Nam's point with the antics. I think it's about the timing, how quickly we see him competing at the highest level. I think that's the key thing. I don't think it should be anything more than 4 or 5 fights. But we don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And Crawford.
Nam, I'll let you.
Sorry, what's the question then? Yeah, what do you think of Crawford then? What do you think of his performance Saturday? Well, it's a phenomenal performance. You know, true superstar in the making, in my opinion. Pound for pound, definitely number one. Overwhelmed someone who did put it on Pacquiao. And contrary to what a lot of people say, I believe he beat Pacquiao. So, you know, and he was in a lot of people's pound for pound list. Jeff Horn was in a lot of people's pound for pound list solely on the basis of the fact that he beat the pound for pound great. So he overwhelmed someone who's substantially bigger than him. Someone who typically, I've read, weighed about 175 pounds to 180 pounds on fight night. It's a big welterweight. It was scintillating, man. The way he just took him to submission, isn't it? Like, broke the guy's heart, man. It was just incredible to watch.
Yeah, exactly.
So, who would you like to see him fight next, Crawford? I mean, we've spoken that before. I think what I would like to do is see him fight the winner of Danny Garcia and Sean Porter. Okay. Actually, I'd like to see him fight someone like Danny Garcia. That would be a good fight. And then after fighting like someone like Danny Garcia, you know, maybe one more not too difficult fight in the welterweight division, and then look to unify with Errol Spence Jr. 2018 could be a brilliant year for boxing.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah, and I think I would agree with that. I mean, I think depending on which route they want to take, I think there's names out there. Because the welterweight is a stacked division. But yeah, Porter Garcia is the one. Exactly. So Porter Garcia is the one. Yeah, you know, I mean, I doubt it's a random name. I doubt. So I think he would take the challenge. You know, someone like Amir Khan. He would love. I think he would love to fight Crawford. Exactly, and I think that helps Crawford's reputation grow a bit more. You know, that could be potentially a big O2 in London for those two. It's whether we can't say Khan wouldn't take the fight because at the end of the day he's fought Canelo, so he's prepared to fight anybody. So I think there's options out there. There's options. Yeah, man.
Definitely.
So D, listen, I'm going to leave you to it before we run off. But I appreciate you the call and appreciate all the support, and we'll speak soon.
No worries.
All right, cool, man.
Always, yeah?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Cheers.
Take it easy, man. Cheers. So now we're going to wrap up. And just I guess 2 words. Errol Spence fights Carlos Ocampo on Saturday. Do you see an upset knowing that we have 2 undefeated fighters coming head to head?
No, I don't see an upset at all. In fact, I think Errol Spence will just stop him as usual.
Yeah. Probably
by the 5th or 6th round.
Yeah.
Maybe an early stoppage. You know, we've got the making of a superstar in Errol Spence Jr.
Yeah.
You know, what about yourself?
Yeah, I agree. I think he's going to stop him. I think there might even be a bit of pressure knowing that Crawford fought a week earlier, and I think probably they wasn't expecting that. I think it's fair to say a lot of the other welterweights wasn't expecting that type of a performance. So I think it's very important to kind of go back to what Dwayne says. If he can put on a very dominant performance, you know, absolutely batter Ocampo, it might make that fight still a bit more of a mismatch, even though a lot of people will say it was close. You know, the size and the strength could be something which would be a massive issue, knowing that, for me, Crawford Spence is just as skillful, you know, he's a very skillful fighter. So, yeah, I'm going with Spence for that. But, yeah, no, appreciate that. Before we go, last one to touch on was the Okolie Watkins. We were in attendance. Good night of boxing all round from guys like Cheeseman, upsets for Bellotti, and obviously Okolie got the win by devastating fashion. Do you think he's making the right progress throughout his career?
Yes, he is. Definitely made the right progress.
Yeah.
You know, he fought for the Commonwealth title. Things are going well for him. You know, he's stopping people in the right way. He's building up a fan base. And he's going to become a serious cruiserweight contender in the next 1 year or so.
Yeah, I think he's definitely on the right path. So listen, guys, thank you for all the support as usual. Make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel, like our Instagram page, go on our Facebook page, give us all the support, all the love, and we're going to keep bringing you the best in boxing on a weekly basis. So, Nam, thanks for the show again, and we're out.
Thank you, guys.
Take it easy.
Mate. Speak soon.
Speak soon. Bye.